Good to see you again, and welcome to another devotional connection. I have to give a public service announcement before I start, though. I'm dealing with a bit of a sinus infection, so if my voice sounds strange, please bear with me. One of my favorite stories in the Bible comes from Luke chapter 23, as Jesus saves the thief on the cross. For me, not in all the Bible is there a clearer picture of the plan of salvation than what happened as three men were dying on the cross. For me, there are two very clear pictures of the heart of God. One, when he decided to blow the breath of life into Adam, very effectively signing his own death certificate. And two, when he stops, fights through his pain, despair, sorrow, betrayal, loneliness, sleep deprivation, suffocation. The list just gets gruesome. He fights through it all to save one more. He could have saved them both thieves on the cross, but like the world, the thieves on the cross were split into two sides, those who believe and those who don't. What I love about this story is the simplicity of what happened. Here's a man who was guilty of crimes against his own. He was probably acquainted in some form with Barabbas, who Jesus allowed to go free earlier. We don't know about his childhood. We don't get to review the details of his life and bring in witnesses to either help us pity him or condemn him. There are no school pictures to put up that make us feel like he was a good boy, nor is there a rap sheet listing his crimes so we can feel like he's a monster. We have but a few moments at the end of his life to review. And in those few moments, it didn't matter what he was. It didn't matter what he had done. It didn't matter where he had come from. It didn't matter what he was convicted of. In that last moment of his life, he came face to face with the Messiah and was presented a choice. In that moment, he recognized and acknowledged the Son of God. Luke 23, starting at verse 40 says, "But the other rebuked him, saying, 'Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving due reward for our deeds, but this man has done nothing.'" How did he know that? Perhaps he had heard of Jesus, or maybe maybe he had even listened to him teach before. There's no indication of that in the text. But instead, it seems that everyone around Jesus could tell that there was something different about him. From Pilate to the soldiers crucifying him, they could tell that he was innocent. Notice if you read a few verses later in Luke chapter 23, verse 7, it says, "Now when the centurion saw what had taken place, he praised God, saying, 'Certainly this man was innocent.'" There must have been something in Jesus' demeanor that really stood out to these people. Hardened soldiers and one hardened criminal, at least. They at least didn't have hard hearts like the chief priests. They were able to see in a matter of hours that Jesus was an innocent man. But there's more going on in the thief's heart than his newfound faith. And it goes beyond seeing Jesus' innocence. He dared to ask Jesus in verse 42, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And the promise that Jesus gives is so powerful. "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." I don't know about you, but that story shows a love that I can't even begin to understand. It shows a plan that is beyond my comprehension, but also shows that God is willing that heaven should be a place filled with former sinners like me. And he doesn't care what you were. When you meet him, he will tell you who you are. John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." Powerful stuff. And I want to be saved like the thief. Talk to you again soon.